taking action for you. 7 Action News This Morning starts right now.
Chaos. The unrest in America, protesters clashing with police in dozens of cities from coast to coast.
Here in Detroit, police using tear gas to enforce a curfew. Many coming from outside the city to demonstrate.
The outsiders have no vested interest in the city.
The message from leaders in Detroit.
Officers under investigation. A violent interaction with DPD going viral. How Detroit police are responding to the video. Attacks outside the White House. More than 60 Secret Service agents injured during protests over the weekend, where President Trump was taken during the altercations.
Good morning. Thank you for waking up with us on this Monday, June 1st. I'm Alicia Smith.
And I'm Keenan Smith. And as you can tell, there's a whole lot going on this morning, and we're going to get to all of it for you in just a moment.
First, though, let's check on the weather. 7 First Alert meteorologist Kevin Jeans. We are certainly appreciating the forecast we had over the weekend. How about in the days to come?
It was nice. It was great over the weekend. I mean, the mornings were kind of chilly, and I thought that felt great, just like this morning. It feels great when you step outside, some crisp air. And it's going to be sunny today. We're going to warm up quickly this morning. So right now, it's around 48 degrees. Sun coming up right now. Sunrise time is 5:59, so officially before 6 a.m. It's 48 degrees right now, though, and the wind's out of the west 8 miles per hour. So through the morning, it's going to be bright. 52 degrees at 8 o'clock, up to 62 by 10, and then upper 60s by noon today. So bright and sunny through the morning. Clouds will start to increase later this afternoon after about 3 or 4 p.m., but it's going to be a really nice afternoon. Look at the temperature, 74 degrees around Monroe, 73 in Pontiac and Lapeer, 74 for Auburn Hills, and Milford, 73. Farmington, Livonia, Ferndale, 75 degrees. Beautiful weather today. Chance of rain picks up after 8 o'clock tonight. I'll have the future cast again and map it out and time out when we'll get some rain tonight and through the rest of the week. Still ahead.
All right, thank you very much, Kevin. Well, let's take a look outside at one of our 7 First Alert traffic cameras. This is I-275 and Coppertone. No issues to report here or on any other major roadways this morning. We'll have another check of the drive for you coming up in 7 minutes or less. Well, let's get back to our top story this morning. Another night of unrest in many communities over the death of George Floyd.
In Detroit, a citywide curfew expired at 5 a.m. after a third night of demonstrations took place in downtown. We'll have more on that in just a moment.
Meantime, protesters also took to the streets in cities across the country and, well, it was another violent night. SWAT teams shot tear gas into crowds there in Minneapolis. Fires were seen burning in Washington, D.C. and in New York City.
A large group of protesters in defiance of the citywide curfew sparked unrest right outside police headquarters in Detroit last night.
Now, we brought you that news as it unfolded, both on air and online. And this morning, we're surveying the aftermath.
7 Action News reporter Jen Shans is joining us live at Michigan and 3rd. And Jen, what are the streets looking like there this morning?
Well, Alicia, it is certainly the calm after the storm. You take a look at that video from the protest last night, and it's hard to believe downtown Detroit is as calm and quiet as it is this morning, just several hours after those events unfolded. The protest was largely peaceful. It was largely calm up until the clock approached 8 p.m. That's when that citywide curfew took effect, and that's when a group of protesters linked arms and refused to leave the public safety headquarters. Another day of civil unrest in Detroit on the heels of protests around the country, speaking to the outrage over the death of George Floyd in Minneapolis police custody last week. Signs up, fists in the air, hundreds demanding action, wanting their voices heard. As Detroit's 8 o'clock curfew neared, protesters formed a human chain, refusing to leave.
I'm planning to leave when they get stuff together. When they show me that it has changed, that's when I'll leave.
And they want to tell us to calm down, not to riot places and protest, but we're tired of it.
Police threw flashbangs and tear gas to disperse the crowd. Several people were arrested, however, no major injuries were reported. Mayor Duggan applauding the work of DPD.
What they did today, again with another protest group that came almost entirely from outside the city. They handled folks with respect. They gave them an opportunity. But as you can see right now, our streets are not filled with people breaking windows and setting fires.
Now, there has been evidence of public property destroyed around the country this weekend, but as you heard Mayor Duggan there say, we have not seen any evidence of that, at least where we're at, Michigan and 3rd. We have not seen evidence of destruction of property this morning. We are still waiting on arrest numbers from last night, but we do know that 84 people were arrested Saturday evening. Of those 84, 21 are City of Detroit residents. Reporting live this morning in downtown Detroit, Jen Shantz, 7 Action News.
All right, thank you for that live update, Jen.
And this morning, Detroit police say they're investigating a video involving a confrontation between protesters and police. 7 Action News reporter Allie Hoxie continues our team coverage this morning, and she's live outside DPD headquarters with the fallout from the video. Allie?
That's right. This video was posted on social media Saturday night, and since then it's been viewed thousands of times on Facebook, Twitter, and it's even caught the attention of investigators behind me at Detroit Police Department headquarters. This video starts out showing protesters walking away from Detroit police. But one protester, a man in a white cutoff shirt, stops to say something to one of the officers. That officer then pushing the man. Things escalate when a different officer rushes up and pushes the man to the ground. You can hear the man say he's leaving while other protesters try to step in and help him. DPD released a statement regarding the video. It reads, "This video was brought to our attention. We have launched an investigation. The Detroit Police Department is taking this matter very seriously. We have identified one of the officers involved and are working to identify the others." The video ends with the man eventually getting back up, only to be repeatedly shoved and yelled at by police. Now, in the video, it doesn't appear that any of those protesters involved in that incident were arrested. Reporting live from downtown Detroit, Allie Hoxie, 7 Action News.
All right, thank you so much for that update, Allie.
A police brutality protest in Lansing also took a violent turn last night. That event started peacefully at the Capitol around 11 o'clock Sunday morning, but things started to go downhill around 4:30 after protesters smashed a police car in East Lansing, flipped over a car in downtown Lansing, which also caught fire, and then smashed windows at a bank. Police shot off tear gas just after 8 o'clock last night, which sent most of the crowd running away from the scene. Mayor Andy Shore initially set a curfew for 9 p.m., but extended it until 5 o'clock this morning because of the unrest. Meantime, cleanups continuing this morning on the other side of the state in Grand Rapids after weekend protest. And we want to show you a live look at where those protests were held last night. The National Guard was called in to help enforce a curfew after several cars were set on fire. People were seen smashing windows in the downtown area Saturday night, and we're told that the police department building was also vandalized. Things were much more peaceful on Sunday. Grand Rapids police say that they are working to hold everyone who was seen committing a crime on Saturday night accountable. Coming up at 6:30, our Darren Cunningham will have a live report from Grand Rapids.
Well, the protest in our nation's capital is taking a toll on the Secret Service. More than 60 officers and agents were injured near the White House over the weekend. 11 of them were taken to the hospital. Protests started Friday night and continued through Sunday. Bricks, rocks, and fireworks and other items were thrown at Secret Service agents. At one point on Friday, President Trump was briefly taken to an underground bunker. He was there for just under an hour before being brought back upstairs.
A man is in custody accused of driving a tanker truck into a crowd of protesters on a highway in Minneapolis. Look at this. Police say that the driver was taken to the hospital with non-life-threatening injuries, but miraculously, no other serious injuries were reported. Investigators say that 35-year-old Brogdon Vachirko is now charged with assault. The Minnesota State Patrol says that the action appeared to be deliberate. That's hard to watch. That bridge was packed. For continuing coverage of protests in Metro Detroit and across the country, stay with 7 Action News. We will bring you the very latest on air and online at WXYZ.com.
Right now to the latest coronavirus headlines.
Starting today, Michigan Secretary of State branch offices will reopen for appointment only.
The offices will be open from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday through Friday. The Secretary of State requests that anyone with an appointment come alone, wear a mask, and wait in their car until their appointment time.
Firekeepers Battle Creek Casino Hotel is planning to reopen today with new safety precautions in place. Poker tables, bingo, buffets, and parking garages will also remain closed, as well as hotel pool and fitness areas. Firekeepers is one of several tribal casinos ready to roll the dice again. Gun Lake Casino in Wayland and Soaring Eagle in Mount Pleasant are also planning to reopen in the coming days.
Dry weather today. We're going to be sunny this afternoon, but I'm tracking rain for later on tonight. We're watching what's coming out of Minnesota as the day goes on, when rain's going to be moving back into Metro Detroit. Still ahead.
First, so let's take a live look at one of our 7 First Alert traffic cameras. This is I-696 west of Coolidge. No issues here to report, and we are accident-free so far this hour on all Metro Detroit freeways.
All right, time now 6:10. Scaling back the changes Amazon is making to deliveries because of the nationwide protest.
Plus, putting sunscreens to the test. Next at 6:14, what Consumer Reports found when comparing UV protection so you don't waste your money. You're watching 7 Action News this morning. .13. With the coronavirus pandemic, trips to the beach may be few and far between, but we'll likely still spend some time in the sun, which means we'll need a good sunscreen. Consumer Reports just finished testing them, so you don't waste your money. With weeks of sheltering in place and summer approaching, getting outside in the nice warm weather is something many of us are looking forward to. But it's important to take the proper precautions, and we're not just talking face masks.
You don't need to be on a beach to get burned. No matter where you are outside, you need to apply sunscreen to any exposed skin, even if it's cloudy out or not super hot.
You may need to even wear sunscreen indoors if you spend a lot of time sitting near a sunny window.
Glass blocks the UV rays that can cause sunburn, but it can let through some of the UV rays that are primarily responsible for wrinkles and skin cancer.
As part of Consumer Reports testing, sunscreens applied to subjects' backs. Then they soak in a tub for 40 or 80 minutes, depending on the product's water resistance claim. The area is then exposed to simulated sunlight. The next day, trained experts examine the area for redness. 2 top performers are also Consumer Reports Best Buys: Trader Joe's Spray SPF 50+, and Coppertone Ultra Guard Lotion SPF 70. It's important to note all of Consumer Reports' top-rated sunscreens contain an ingredient called oxybenzone, which is a very effective UV filter.
The concern with oxybenzone is that there's some evidence that it's absorbed through the skin more than previously thought. That doesn't necessarily mean it's unsafe, but the American Academy of Pediatrics suggests parents may want to use oxybenzone-free sunscreen on their kids.
Hawaiian Tropic Sheer Touch Ultra Radiance Lotion SPF 50 and Hawaiian Tropic Silk Hydration Weightless Lotion SPF 30 were the highest scoring oxybenzone-free sunscreens in Ciara's test. Although not at the top of the ratings, they're still highly protective. Consumer Reports also recommends that parents choose lotion sunscreens for their kids and only use the sprays as a last resort because kids may inhale the spray, which could cause lung irritation. And Keenan dermatologists will say, you know what, really, the best sunscreen is the one you wear. But you might as well use one that really protects you.
Oh, without a doubt. And, even if you're not going on a vacation this year, as you said, just hanging out in the backyard, hanging out with the kids, working by a window,
right,
which I hadn't really thought of, yeah, you might still need some sun protection.
Even on a cloudy day.
Even on a cloudy day. Well, let's check in now with 7 First Alert meteorologist Kevin Jeans. We're taking a live look over downtown Detroit, and it looks like today's going to be a pretty bright day. We're already getting some sunshine on the buildings there. Kevin, is it going to stay this way all day long, or will the clouds come rolling in?
Most of the day, Keenan, definitely throughout the rest of the morning, and it's going to be another bright day today. I mean, this weekend, the weather was perfect. The mornings were nice and cool. The afternoons felt great. We're going to get another day like that today before it starts to heat up, and it's going to be feeling more like summer the rest of the week. So, yeah, sunscreen is going to be important now that we're in the month of June already today, June 1st. And temperatures this morning are in the mid to upper 40s. In Royal Oak, it's 45 degrees right now. Well, the high is 75, though, this afternoon. So starting out in the 40s, but we warm up quickly. We'll be in the 60s by about 10 a.m., upper 60s by noon. It'll be sunny the rest of the morning. The wind fairly light, too. It's around 7 or 8 miles per hour right now. And what we'll be watching today is a disturbance right now that's moving out of North Dakota into northern Minnesota. That will start to turn southeast and gain some strength as it does so, and move across the western UP later today, and eventually it'll be moving across lower Michigan later tonight. So today, the average high temperature, 75 degrees. That's the forecast high today, too, and we average mid-50s for lows. So we have below average morning lows and near average afternoon temperatures, records close to 100 degrees now. So today we'll have a high of 75. And we'll warm up quickly through the morning. Sunny skies this morning. Mostly sunny this afternoon. Clouds start to increase, though, late in the day. And we'll drop into the 60s by about 9 p.m. or so as the sun goes down. And then tomorrow morning will be close to 60 degrees in the morning. Tomorrow afternoon, though, it heats up. Highs in the mid-80s. And we're back to about 86 degrees later on tomorrow. So the heat is back by tomorrow, and we're going to have highs in the 80s the rest of the week. Here's our rain forecast for tonight. This is 4:30, increasing clouds after about 4 p.m. Widespread rain moving in from the northwest to the southeast after 8 p.m. and picking up about 10 o'clock through midnight. And so some rain overnight. Could be some rumbles of thunder, too, and some heavy rain by 10 o'clock through midnight. And then tomorrow is going to be dry during the day. Will again be mostly sunny tomorrow afternoon, but we'll again have the chance of rain developing late tomorrow night. Tomorrow night looks a little later. After about 11 p.m. midnight, the chance of rain will go up, and then Wednesday, off and on rain and a few thunderstorms will be possible. 84 Wednesday, and we'll have highs the rest of the week in the 80s, and morning temperature is going to be in the 60s. So today's kind of the last cool day that we're going to have for a while. It's certainly going to feel like June, as it's now into the first week of June. The rest of this week, guys.
All right, thank you, Kevin. Well, here's a live look at one of our 7 First Alert traffic cameras. This is I-696 at Woodward. And as you can see, there are no issues to report here. And that's the case on all of the major freeways this morning. We'll have another check of the drive for you coming up in 7 minutes or less.
Amazon is scaling back deliveries and changing routes in areas that have seen some violent protests after the death of George Floyd.
Now, the company tells Bloomberg News they're taking the temporary safety measures in cities like Los Angeles and California. Now, according to Bloomberg, Amazon actually recalled some of its drivers in those cities Saturday night. There's no word yet if deliveries are being affected here in Michigan.
Target is temporarily closing some stores and adjusting hours at dozens more as protests continue to erupt across the country. The retailer says that the actions are being taken as a safety measure. The closures are in Atlanta, Philadelphia, Chicago, Oakland, California, and Minneapolis, where the first Target store was looted and badly damaged during the protests.
All right, time now, 6:20. One reunion to rule them all, where the cast of Lord of the Rings got together again for a good cause, and how you can watch.
You're watching 7 Action News this morning.
Good morning and welcome back. It is Monday, June 1st already, and it was a great weekend, and today it's going to be bright and sunny again, especially through this morning. It's kind of chilly outside right now. We have temperatures in the 40s to start, and the sun's going to be out the rest of the morning, mid-60s by 11 a.m. Sunrise time was 5:59. We'll be at 71 degrees at 3 o'clock this afternoon. Mostly sunny today. Highs in the mid-70s in Lake Orion, around 72 degrees by 5 p.m. We have the chance of rain developing after 8 p.m. More widespread rain will be moving in closer to 10 p.m. to midnight. So plan for rain tonight, but it'll be a really nice afternoon in the 70s. Guys?
All right. Thank you very much, Kevin. Well, a real treat is now available for streaming for Lord of the Rings fans.
Yeah, the cast reunited for charity and to discuss the legacy of their hit trilogy.
Yeah, it happens Sunday on Josh Gad's Reunion Apart web series. Now, among the stars that participated include Elijah Woods, Sean Astin, Vito Mortensen, Peter Jackson, and Liv Tyler. Now, the former co-stars reminisced for nearly an hour, and they even brought props from the New Zealand set of the trilogy. Some even showed off their matching tattoos.
Impressive. Money raised from the reunion will benefit No Kid Hungry. So obviously a great reunion for a wonderful cause.
Yeah, and a wonderful series. If you haven't seen it, check it out. We were watching The Hobbit yesterday with the boys. So, you know, sort of the prequel to Lord of the Rings, but it's all fantastic. It's a great storytelling as well. All right, time to see what's coming up now on Good Morning America.
We check in with Ginger Z live from New York with a look ahead this morning. Ginger?
Morning to you, Alicia and Keenan. Great to be with you both this morning. Of course, we're going to be covering all parts of the protests, of the beautiful, peaceful one that we saw there in Flint, Michigan, just north of you, and of course, so many others, not so much. In more than 100 cities across this nation, there are people protesting after the death of George Floyd. Curfews have been imposed. Thousands have been arrested. So we are live in Minneapolis with the roundup there. Also this morning, we've got the latest on the investigation into the officer now charged with killing George Floyd. His family, Georgia's, calling for more serious charges. George Floyd's brother will join us live right here on GMA. And it's a challenging time for everybody, but a difficult time to be a child. Parents, including myself, across this nation asking, what should we say to our kids about everything that's going on right now? Well, we have an expert that is joining us live with how to discuss these difficult topics. And then an incredible surprise, ready for this one? A healthcare hero who has gone above and beyond during the pandemic, not missing one day of work in months. Well, we have teamed up with Frozen's Josh Gad to give her 7-year-old the thrill of a lifetime. Probably nothing better for anybody than seeing their child happy, especially I believe it's going to be with Olaf talking to them. You'll see that coming up right here on GMA.
That will be a thrill.
Yeah, you want to get to any parent, please their child. You're in. All right, thank you so much, Ginger.
That's it.
In the next half hour here, we're following stories for you from Flint, Macomb County, and Detroit.
Plus, Grand Rapids police and local law enforcement keeping a watchful eye on downtown last night. We'll tell you how things went.
Also, peaceful protest in Michigan. You just heard Ginger make reference to it, where police joined demonstrations walking side by side with protesters.
And we are talking live with Mojo in the morning about the extreme way some people are escaping loved ones during the quarantine. You're watching 7 Action News this morning.
Taking action for you. You're watching 7 Action News this morning.
Right now at 6:30, another night of unrest in Detroit. What protesters and city leaders are saying after the demonstration escalated and police used tear gas to disperse the crowd.
Plus, cleanup in Grand Rapids after protests turned violent over the weekend. The damage left behind and who was called in to help enforce a curfew.
And historic space mission. American astronauts docking with the International Space Station. What's next for them and how long they'll be in outer space?
Good morning and thank you so much for waking up with us. It's Monday, June 1st.
We do have a lot to get to after a very busy weekend. First, so we do want to check in with 7 First Alert meteorologist Kevin Jeans for what we can expect weather-wise today and the week.
Hey guys, good morning again. It's going to be sunny outside today after a great weekend, and temperatures are again this morning starting out in the 40s. So it's been kind of chilly at night and the mornings that we've had, and now we're in the month of June officially, and today is going to be our last day in the 70s for a while. We're going to be back above average for temperatures. We're going to have highs in the 80s after today, but look at this morning, 54 degrees and sunny through 8 o'clock, mid-60s by 10 a.m., upper 60s at noon. Sunny skies all morning. It's a wonderful morning to get outside, go for a walk or go for a jog. And then this afternoon, we're going to be in the 70s. So another really nice day today before things really start to heat back up. We'll be in the mid-80s by tomorrow afternoon. So today, mid-70s, but we're going to be at least 10 degrees hotter by tomorrow afternoon. And again, it's a really nice day today. So another great day. Rain possible tonight, again tomorrow night. And, of course, I'm going to show you the temperatures through the rest of the week, which day could be the hottest that we have in the 7-day forecast that's coming up in about another 10 or 15 minutes. Guys, back to you.
Thank you, Kevin. Let's take a live look out at the roads for you. One of our 7 First Alert traffic cameras. Bright sunshine there. Definitely grab the sunglasses before you head out the door. This is the Lodge at Livernois. No issues to report here, but there is a crash on southbound Southfield Freeway at I-96. This is affecting the right shoulder. We'll have another update for you in 7 minutes or less.
Well, the big story this morning, the unrest in America, the country experiencing anger, vandalism, and violence.
Communities from coast to coast protesting police brutality nearly a week after the death of George Floyd. At least 40 cities imposing curfews last night, including Detroit and Grand Rapids. And we have live team coverage from both cities this morning, beginning with 7 Action News reporter Jen Shans.
Now, Jen, what are things looking like after a third night of protest in the Motor City?
Well, Keenan, it is all quiet here in downtown Detroit. You've seen evidence from around the country of these protests ending in destruction or damage of public property, at least from where we're standing. We're at Michigan and 3rd, not far from public safety headquarters. We do not see any evidence of public property being damaged here in Detroit. The protests last night were largely peaceful. They escalated right around 8 o'clock. That's when the citywide curfew took effect, and that's when a group of protesters decided to not leave public safety headquarters.
I want to raise kids in a country that cares about people that look like me.
What started as a largely peaceful protest Sunday night turned chaotic as the city approached its 8 o'clock curfew. This marks 3 days of civil unrest in Detroit in response to the death of George Floyd in police custody in Minneapolis last week.
I'm standing in this line because what is happening in this country is just absolutely disgusting and heartbreaking.
Several people were arrested and a Detroit News reporter temporarily detained. This video posted to the Detroit News Facebook page shortly afterwards.
You know, I've never had that cold steel on my, wrist.
At one point, protesters asking police in full riot gear, kneel with us. Police threw flashbangs and tear gas to disperse the crowd. Several people were arrested. However, no major injuries were reported. Police Chief James Craig says most of this weekend's troublemakers are not from the city of Detroit.
Detroiters support us. We've had numerous conversations with the community about this. They're angry about outsiders coming in here. The outsiders have no vested interest in the city.
Obviously, tensions very high here in downtown Detroit last night, as they were this weekend in other parts of Michigan and around the country. We are still waiting on arrest numbers from last night's protests. We know Saturday evening, 84 people were arrested. Of those 84, 21 are residents of the city of Detroit. Reporting live this morning in downtown Detroit, Jen Shantz, 7 Action News.
All right. Thank you so much, Jen. Well, weekend protests also took a violent turn on the west side of the state.
Arrests were made in Grand Rapids last night as the National Guard was on standby. 7 Action News reporter Darren Cunningham is live in Grand Rapids with a look at what's happening there this morning. Darren.
Yes, good morning, Alicia, Keenan. It's a relatively normal morning here in downtown Grand Rapids, other than the fact that many of the businesses down here have been shuttered because of the COVID-19 pandemic. But as you can see, those are some of the buildings that had to have some plywood put up as a result of what happened Saturday night. Windows that were smashed out, hundreds of windows, glass that were smashed out. But I want to show you over here. When we got into town yesterday, we noticed there were businesses where the glass was not smashed, and restoration companies, volunteers were putting up these pieces of plywood, trying to prevent what happened Saturday night if more people were to come out last night. But there was that curfew, and there were some arrests.
Stand with them because as long as you're not breaking windows and burning down buildings, this is their right to do that. And we may not agree on everything 100%, but black, white, green, purple, gay, straight, who cares? This is your right to be a peaceful protest in this country.
The previous night, Saturday night, turned out to be anything but peaceful in Grand Rapids. Looting and vandalism of dozens of businesses downtown.
You may be arrested or cited.
But the chaos from Saturday and the curfew that resulted on Sunday did not deter a man and woman, the young black couple in the middle, from returning to peacefully protest where Saturday night's demonstration began.
It is unlawful to be on the streets after 7 p.m.
They continued to protest against police brutality. Several other individuals decided to join them, including Clay Coy, who tells 7 Action News he came from Lansing to help with cleanup. Now he's locking arms in solidarity. But after warnings before and after 7 p.m., police arrested the group.
They are going to place your hands behind your back and they are going to place you in handcuffs.
Clay says he takes issue with a number of looters getting away, and yet they are the ones that are headed to jail.
You can't arrest them, but you can arrest us sitting here peacefully in unity. That's not my America, and I doubt it's anything that they would want in their America either.
Now, police say some looters were arrested Saturday night. However, the chief says that they were not local. Again, as we've been reporting, that curfew was 48 hours. The city enacted it for 48 hours, so it goes into effect again tonight at 7 p.m. through 5 a.m. tomorrow morning. This morning, we're live in downtown Grand Rapids. Darren Cunningham, 7 Action News.
All right, thank you for that live update, Darren.
Well, Governor Gretchen Whitmer and Lieutenant Governor Garland Gilchrist II are once again jointly addressing the ongoing protests.
Following Saturday's statement, the two released a video on Sunday.
The predominant feeling I hear from Black Michiganders is exhaustion. I cannot imagine the chronic fear African American parents have every time their children, spouse, or loved ones leave the house.
And for all who continue to live with the constant fear, know that we will pursue action and reforms that will address the immediate pain and the systemic injustice.
And we do have a link to the governor and lieutenant governor's full message on our website, WXYZ.com. And joining us on the phone right now to talk about the protests and moving forward is State Representative Sherry Gay Dagnogo from Detroit. Good morning, Representative. Thank you for joining us.
Representative, are you there? Representative, can you hear us? All right, I think we might be having some trouble because we can hear someone there, but I don't know if she can hear us. Representative Gay Dagnogo. We're going to have to check back in with her in just a bit. Obviously, there's a lot going on here in Detroit and Michigan and nationwide. We're going to stay on top of all of this, and we'll have our continuing coverage of the protests in Detroit and across the country. Stay with 7 Action News. You can always find the latest here on air and at WXYZ.com.
Time now is 6:39. Escaping loved ones during the pandemic. We are talking live with Mojo in the morning about the length some people are going to for some time alone.
But first, fighting disinformation. Next, the investigation into suspicious social media accounts spreading false information about the protest.
First, though, we do want to take a live look over downtown Detroit. We're going to be seeing some sunshine, temps in the mid-70s, but storms could be moving in tonight. We will have an updated forecast for you in 7 minutes or less.
And here's a look outside at one of our 7 First Alert traffic cameras. This is I-96 and Kensington. No problems to report here. No problems to report on any of the major roadways outside right now. We'll keep an eye on the drive for you. You're watching 7 Action News this morning.
Representative, can you hear us now? This is Alicia and Keenan from Channel 7. Can you hear us now? Hello?
Well, with protests happening coast to coast, we do want to show you some of the things that have been unfolding in other parts of the country.
In Atlanta, 2 police officers have been fired after video allegedly showed them using excessive force during protests on Saturday night. Officers were filmed breaking the windows of the vehicle 2 people were in, yanking one woman out of the car and tasing a man.
Now, in Des Moines, Iowa last night, a sign of solidarity, a demonstration there ending with police and protesters kneeling together. And right now, U.S. officials are investigating sources of disinformation going on about the protests taking place nationwide.
Disinformation are false claims that are spread deliberately compared to misinformation, which can be shared accidentally. Investigators say that there has been an uptick in suspicious accounts created, and they say they've been seeing posts with false material about police brutality protests that seem to be purposefully fueling tensions online. Investigators think that foreign agents may be behind this effort.